everyone, this is Mike and welcome to the Cardboard Box Challenge, where I take boxes and I make something cool with it. I decided to make this chandelier and it came out really well. I'm super happy with it. And this is how it went. So first of all, you get your idea. I knew I wanted to make a chandelier and I had a bunch of boxes in the garage, thank God. The plan I used, I found on Instructables. A company called Design That Matters put up this plan for a geodesic dome. They had a PDF on there that had a layout. So I grabbed that and I went from there. I next went into Corel and started drawing out my shapes. There's only two shapes in this entire structure. There's two different triangles. There's a 60-degree equilateral triangle, and I decided to use my common side was 6 inches. So 3 sides 6 inches, 3 60-degree angles. And then there's a second triangle that's slightly smaller. You calculate that out by taking 360 degrees instead of a circle, dividing it by 5, and you see me doing the math. And that's how I calculate the legs and angles of that particular triangle. Once you have those, then your shapes are kind of established. What I need to do next now is to make an actual cutting drawing. Because I'm not going to be cutting the triangles that you see here, I need to actually cut a little bit beyond them so that I have a tab. The triangle shape will be scored in the cardboard, and then the blue lines that you see will be the actual cut lines, so that I'll be able to fold and have a little tab that I can attach, and I can clamp and glue these tabs together to create my end shape. One thing I'm doing here is cleaning up my drawing so that I'm not doubling my lines up. One thing you'll learn when you start cutting with the laser is you don't want to cut a line twice, especially in cardboard, because things catch on fire. This is me doing my very first cut. This is just to test the tabs, just to test my excess and to make sure I'm scoring it correctly, and to see if the whole idea is actually viable. Because sometimes ideas don't really translate from the computer to the real world very well. So this is where we see, if I'm barking up the wrong tree or if this is gonna work. This is where I take those tabs and I bend them back, and I've got binder clips for days for some reason, thank goodness. Everything seems to work okay. Because this is going to be a chandelier, I don't want a solid object. I want an object that's got some perforations in it to let the light through. So my final triangular pieces are going to have circles cut into it. So that's what you're seeing here. I was happy with the shape. I was happy with the size. I redrew all the circles, and now we just cut. And we cut, and we cut, and we cut, and we cut. And then once I've got enough pieces made, I can actually start to assemble the polygons. I need 27 polygons in total. I need 15 that are 6-sided, like the one I'm making right now. And I need 12 that are going to be 5-sided. I completely underestimated the amount of time it takes to make these things. So yeah, there was a lot of making these. And one of the frustrating things was you can't start assembling the project until you have all these polygons made. You gotta make them, you gotta glue them up, and of course I didn't make enough triangles to start with because I didn't have enough boxes, so there's that as well. But also I built in several stages, so it didn't turn out that bad. It's just the whole project took a lot longer than I thought it would. The nice thing was I can continue to laser cut as I assemble. So, there was that. I wasn't at a complete standstill. So I'm finally getting to the point where I've got some panels assembled, and now is when I really find out if this idea is going to come crashing to the ground or not. I can start assembling the actual panels themselves to create the dome shape. I'm using this assembly diagram that I got online. I've got a link to it in the description below so you can see it yourself. And it seems to work okay. One thing I started to discover though is as I'm putting this together, it's super floppy and it's not really what you want in terms of standing up or resting on a surface once you start to build the whole dome. So I've got to rethink how I'm gonna put this whole thing together. And it occurs to me I need to get this hanging sooner rather than later. Because this thing is so light, I'm not going to have a separate hanging mechanism. It's just going to hang straight from the electrical cord. I got a very simple socket with 2 wires that come out of it, and I got an extension cord. I cut that small piece of plexiglass disc. I ran the extension cord through that so that the disc helps distribute the load and support more of the top structure. You've got to remember to get your light and your wiring done by this point because you're going to start trapping yourself and not be able to get to it soon. And then we continue building this thing, and that was a long process, much longer than I anticipated. Very interesting though, because it gets floppy for the first bit, and once you get about halfway down, you see that the shapes actually conform the way they're supposed to be, and they start creating this dome, and that's pretty darn satisfying, I gotta say. Making the last panels. So those are going to dry overnight, and then the next day I can put this thing up. I need to raise it up a little bit higher so I can get underneath it and have a more permanent rigged scenario than the truck strap. So that's what you see me doing now. And now we can properly get underneath it and have the ability to raise it when I get to the bottom. You'll see the LED light hanging there. That shouldn't get too hot. I'm not terribly concerned about that. This is the part of the project where I start to really get excited because it's actually working. All of these little triangles have come together to create these panels, and these panels have assembled in such a way that this dome is actually happening. This sphere is an entire shape that it's supposed to be. The panels glued up nicely, and it got to the point where the last one went in and there was a hole the shape that the last one was supposed to be. It was really great. Yeah, I was super excited to put that last piece in and to have it fit and to have the whole thing work like it was supposed to. Pulled it up, got it hung, got it plugged in, and got it turned on. The light coming out of it looks like I thought it would. It was a great learning experience. It was fun to build. I highly recommend it to anybody. If anyone wants more detailed guidance, please contact me. Thank you for watching my project.